I'm Elena Roosevelt, and I'll be talking about the human rights violation in Communist China. It is a great pleasure to have got this opportunity to present before you the human rights violation in Communist China. I would like to bring to your notice some of the startling facts. The State Department's 2009 well-documented State Department's 2009 Human Rights Practices and International Religious Freedom Reports noted China's well-documented and continuing abuses of human rights in violation of internationally recognized norms, stemming both from the authorities' intolerance of dissent and the inadequacy of legal safeguards for basic freedoms. Report abuses have included arbitrary, lengthy detention, extrajudicial killings, execution without due process, forced confessions, torture, and mistreatment of prisoners, as well as severe restrictions of freedom of speech, press, assembly, association, religion, privacy, worker rights, and coercive birth limitation. I would say little has changed in China as far as human rights are concerned, because from 1953 to 1926, the enforcement of non-portable rights associated with one's domicile created an underclass. China's 800 million rural residents were treated as second-class citizens. And from 1978 to 2001, export processing zones were created in city suburbs, where mostly female migrants worked under derogatory conditions. Restrictions placed on the mobility of migrant workers were pervasive, and transient workers were forced to live in precarious existence in company dormitories or shanty towns, and suffered abusive consequences. The kids of non-named Gong, workers who come from counties, are not allowed to enter city schools with their parents. Even now, they have to live with their grandparents or uncles in order to go to the local school town in counties. They are called homestaying children by Chinese government. Incidents like the one which occurred in the Chinese town of Sanjiao, where a 15-year-old schoolgirl was beaten to death by a policeman. Her family later received 130,000 yuan from the local government to say that the girl had died due to a heart attack. This is a blatant violation. I would say human dignity. The Chinese human rights activist Liu Xiaobo has been awarded the Nobel Prize for the 2010 for his consistent work on the direction for gaining respect for human rights and the rule of law and democracy. He is at present serving a prison sentence of 11 years in China. After hearing the announcement of the Nobel Prize Award, the Chinese government has put his wife in house arrest. Do you think this is justified? The U.S. has conducted 13 rounds of human rights dialogue with China since Tiananmen. The most recent round took place in May 2010, led by Assistant Secretary of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor Michael Posner, and Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs Director General for International Organizations, Shen Su. Discussion topics included religious freedom, labor rights, freedom of expression, rule of law, racial discrimination, and multilateral cooperation. The U.S. and China laid a foundation to continue these discussions in the future, agreed to a next round of dialogue to be held in China in 2011. I pray to Almighty God for a well-being of the people of China, and I hope that they will enjoy full dignity and respect as in the United States or in any other nation in the world respecting human rights. Thank you.